work begins on my Shadespire warband, Gerrek's Reavers. So Phil's going to play the Stormcast, so I'm going to play the Reavers. And what I've done is I've just based them white with the spray primer. And the bases I'm going to redo in gray afterwards, but for now, as a way of keeping them on a platform that I can use, I've kept them on the base. But after the miniatures are finished, I'll take off the base, respray them, and do the bases separate. So I'm going to start with the boss, which is Gerrek, which is this guy is holding the head. So we're going to stick to the GW colors and try and make it as good as possible. So we'll start with the skin. Alright, so Gerrek's Reavers have been based with Bugsman's Glow and then washed with Reikland Flesh Shade. And I thought, since I'm washing with Reikland Flesh Shade, I might as well wash the Liberators, who were sprayed with gold paint and washed all over with the same wash. So that's looking good. Wait for all that to dry. Alright, working on my Gerrek's Reavers warband for Shadespire. Yeah, painting muscle is kind of tricky. So I'm following the Duncan method. So I put down my, whatever it's called, the base layer. Can't remember what it's called now. Bugman's Glow, yep, that's it, Bugman's Glow. And I've got my shade in there, Reikland Flesh Shade, and I'm filling in, other than the recesses, Cadian Flesh Tone. Yeah, some of the recesses are obvious, like around these muscles, but some of them are not, like around here. I guess that looks okay, but I might actually go back and shade it again after I'm done. But that's the first layer on these guys. We'll keep on doing the other guys. Alright, work continues on Gerrek's Reavers in preparation for Thursday. Having a Shadespire game day with Phil. And so all the base coats are done. So all the bronze and the black and the gray. The skin is already fully done, so that's fine. And then all the silver parts. Quite painstaking work. These guys are certainly up to par with normal Sigmar models in terms of detail and quality. You know, these guys would fit equally well in Sigmar as they would in on the board game. And in fact, I think you can download rules for them to use in Sigmar. And these 5 guys are like a 60 point unit for a Bloodbound army, which is pretty cool. So next we're going to shade everything except the skin with Agrax, and let that dry. Alright, I'm calling these guys done except for the bases. Gerrek's Reavers. Just finished off highlighting all the appropriate colors. Administratum Gray on the gray, Evil Sun Scarlet on the red, Sikorax Bronze on the Balthazar Gold, Stormhole Silver on all the silver parts, Gorthor Brown on the brown parts, and for the hafts I went with Screamer Pink and a layer of Screamer Pink on the scars, and yeah, looks pretty good. Screaming Skull on the bones. Here's Gerrek himself. And Dark Reaper on the black bits. Pretty nice miniatures. Painting muscles is painful and difficult. I would not want to do a whole army of Khorne Bloodbound. No thanks. But 5 guys is okay. Yeah, imagine doing a whole army of these guys. Oh my god. You see the scars a little bit more pinked up now with the Screamer Pink, so looks nice. Okay, so now I'm going to take these guys off the bases since they're just press fit. Spray all the bases gray, and then I can work on the bases, and then these guys will be done. Alright, just doing the bases for my Gerrek's Reavers for Shadespire. Just sprayed them gray, painted in the skulls, painted in the brown patches, and then washed with Nuln Oil. So that's the step we're at now. Then it's going to be a bunch of dry brushing, and they should be ready to go. So not too bad. My dudes are over there. And so yeah, that will be my first warband for Shadespire done. Just took a few days. Not too bad. And that's 5 guys with muscles. So skeletons hopefully will be pretty fast, since bone is pretty fast to paint. So alright, while I'm waiting for those bases to dry, I started working on Steelheart's Liberators. So these had previously been sprayed gold and washed with Reikland Flesh Shade. So I took a dry brush of Auric Armor Gold to brighten up the gold again. Mostly looks okay. Maybe overdone in a few areas. What I'll do is I'll probably just paint a little bit of Reikland Flesh Shade into specific areas. Again, just to bring out some of those details. But otherwise it looks pretty good. Brighten these guys right back up into their golden selves. So yeah, we'll keep working on those. And these bases over here looking pretty good, still drying. So we'll keep going. Hopefully we'll be done both warbands by Thursday. Alright, Gerrek's Reavers are done. Here they are, ready to battle. The bases were pretty easy, just based in gray. Picked out the skulls and the brown spots, and then dry brushed with Administratum Gray, and then a very light dry brush of Screaming Skull. And looks pretty good. And these guys are ready. I'm debating adding blood. Sometimes I like blood, sometimes I think it's overdone. So what I'll do is I'll leave them for now and sleep on it and come back to it. But otherwise these guys are done. And of course work is progressing on Steelheart's bunch of people. So these guys are ready anyway for Shadespire on Thursday, and we'll see if we can get these guys done as well. Alright, finished the basing for Steelheart's Champions. Unfortunately, that's as far as I've gotten before today's Shadespire day, but at least there's a bit of paint on them and they don't look too bad. Just following GW color scheme. Pretty straightforward. Just, yeah, looks pretty good. I gotta say, painting over the gold spray, 3-4 coats for most colors. Even this dark Cantor blue took 3 or 4 coats, especially in these solid portions like the shield there and the back of Steelheart's cloak. That took about 4 or 5 coats to get it look smooth and even on top of the gray spray. So it must be something about the gray spray, just makes it hard to paint on top of. Even the silver, which normally coats in 1 coat, any other base color, takes 2, sometimes even 3 coats of the silver to go on top of the gold. Otherwise, the basing is done on these guys. I was going to slap some wash on them, but then I didn't want to play with them on the board when they're dripping wash, so I'll do that afterwards. But yeah, so they're ready to go for today's Shadespire day, and then we'll finish them off later tonight, and I'll be done. And hopefully I'll be picking up my skeletons either today or tomorrow. Alright, Steelheart's people coming along. Just put some known oil on these various parts, looking pretty good, and really makes some of the details stand out there, like the necklace and the hair and the chainmail and stuff. Excuse me. So it's looking pretty good. Then we'll be highlighting bases, and these guys will be done. And actually today I just picked up the Sepulchral Guard and the Iron Skulls. 2 boxes of Iron Skulls, one for a friend, one for Phil. So those guys will be next up on the Shadespire painting list. I know some people don't do this, but I like to really hit the edges of gold with Stormhold Silver. It just gives that gold that extra, slightly less shiny look, but definitely a more worn look. But not worn in a bad way, but worn in a cool way. Maybe overdid a little bit on this lion symbol, which I also filled in the eyes and the teeth, just to give it some definition, this lion's head on his shoulder pad. But I think the extra bit of Stormhold Silver really helps gold to pop. There we go. I also did it obviously on all the silver bits, but you know, it's subtle. You may not be able to see it that well, but the bits that look like it's light really shining off the gold, that's actually Stormhold Silver. So that's what it kind of adds to the gold, is that extra bit of shininess on the sharp edges that I think makes it look good. You could be pretty conservative with it, but I think it really adds a character to the edges of the gold, for sure. I really like it. Okay, I'm going to go on and keep highlighting these guys. Almost done. Alright, these guys are done. Highlighted up all the other colors. Katie and Fleshtone for the flesh. Dark Reaper for the hair. Evil Sun Scarlet for the red. Thunderhawk Blue for the blue. Ulthuan Gray for the white bits. And Stormhole Silver, of course. And I actually left the hilts of the weapons as is, with the Screamer Pink and the shadowing. I kind of like the look of it like that. Here's the back of the cloak, which was not that great, but will do, I guess. And yeah, so these guys are done. Steelheart's champions are done. Looks pretty good. And of course, I've taken them off the base now, because now I'm going to do the base, and then they'll really be done. So we're going to spray the bases gray, do all the stone details, and then we'll be finished these guys. Alright, bases painted and washed, so just a silver head there, the usual gray, brown, and lots of little green leaves on all three of these, and washed with Null Oil. So once those dry, we're going to give them a good dry brush and a highlight, and they'll be ready, and these guys will be done. Alright, some dry brush, a little bit of edge highlighting on some of the greenery, and these guys are done. Looks very nice, very good indeed. I gotta say, these bases make the models look that extra bit special, so it looks really, really nice. I mean, you know, the bases themselves are super detailed. Very easy to paint, and just add so much to these models that are already great. So I love it. So actually, I forgot to paint the edges black. I'm going to do that. But other than that, these guys are done. And that's the first work in progress video for Shadespire. So do stay tuned. The next work in progress video will be the Sepulchral Guard. And then we're going to be doing Iron Skulls after that. And yeah, so there's going to be lots of Shadespire still to come on the channel. So stay tuned.